You're listening to the World's Team Podcast. It's not just America's team, Cowboys Nation. It's the world's team. Now, here are your hosts, Paul Stewart and Mike Poland.
How about them Cowboys?
What is up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the World's Team Podcast, brought to you by the Believe Network and sponsored by Cowboys Experience for the ultimate game day experience, tailgating, stadium tours, all the above. Be sure to go to www.cowboysexperience.com and use the discount code WorldsTeam2025. I am your host, Paul Stewart, and I am joined, as always, with my brother in arms, all the way from Wales. You can find him on bloggingtheboys.com. It's no other than Mr. Mike Poland. I think that's all I really have to say about last night's game.
I am absolutely exhausted.
You're exhausted.
I've been staying up till nearly 5 o'clock in the morning here in the UK to watch that, and like the game itself was exhausting to watch. It was it was frustrating and exhausting, just because it was both sides of the ball in terms of the trenches. We can give a bit of alleviate a little bit of the blame, although there is blame to had on the Dallas defensive line in terms of the edges, but it was what they were being asked to do, which was so frustrating and exhausting. You had the edges dropping into coverage, and I get the reasons why. We know why Eberflus is asking them to drop into coverage. It's annoying to see because what it is he was trying to pick what he believed was the lesser of two evils. But what it boiled down to is your linebackers really are the problem. So he's asking the edges to drop into coverage because the linebackers can't do their job.
Not doing their job. Yep.
And by doing that, you give McCarthy more free run. You give him time, which then you give McCarthy time to find where he wants to deliver the ball. You're in a cover 3 situation anyway, which I don't like on this defense with the personnel that you have. He's dropping them into coverage, so then McCarthy's just got more time to deliver the ball, to find his man, pick it, target, throw it, which then has an effect on the secondary. Everybody's saying safeties aren't doing their job, corners are bad, but all this is because there's no pressure on the quarterback, and it's not there because the linebackers aren't doing their job. So it stems from the linebackers and then filters out beyond there.
Yeah, it feels like our cornerbacks have to overcompensate in some capacity. Like
they got to work harder.
Yeah, they've got to work harder, and now we're getting caught out in all these because we're trying to do basically the linebacker's job. But my pet peeve. Right, and I'm gonna dive right into this, Mike.
Do it.
Kenneth Murray. I'm sorry. I have had enough of Kenneth Murray. I'm sorry. I've had enough. Like, as of right now, and I'm gonna talk about that one particular play. Yeah, it was on the 1 yard line. Yeah, likely it was going to be a touchdown, but he was the middle linebacker, and he decides to run to the outside, off tackle, off to the right tackle. And it was like, what are you watching? And you can see the ball was going to their, it was going to their left tackle. Sorry, let me rephrase that. So Kenneth Murray on his right side going to the left tackle, but you could see the ball was motioning to the right on the offense. But yeah, he decides to go the complete polar opposite direction. And now, because he's now compromised that spot, CG Ham just like, well, 1 yard touchdown. Thank you very much.
Untouched.
Like, if Murray just stayed there, it would have showed a little bit of something a bit of struggle. Then I would have accepted that. Like, because it is hard to kind of get a tackle for loss in general when you're trying to stop the run. It is quite hard, but the fact that he completely went off ball in that scenario, I'm like, that's it, I'm done. I am totally done. And I feel bad for Overshawn. Overshawn was basically having to play two linebackers in that game.
Yeah,
He really did.
And he was trying to run in on blitzes. So the big busted coverage where Kalen Carson was on, Overshown's in there. It looks like he's lined up to cover the slot, but he doesn't. He comes in on a blitz, and that just leaves Jalen Naylor wide open to run through. But that's because there's nothing else on the linebacker core being used to cover that middle gap. I mean, the seam on the cover three is all on the linebacker. Those deep passes, they're there to assist and help. So Kalen Carson did also bust on the play, mind. I mean, it was really bad.
Did.
But
Yeah.
and money for definite. I mean, that particular play, me and David Hellman ended up, because I put straight away, I was like, and there you go, Kenneth Murray comes on the field, causes a penalty, first of all. And then a couple plays later, like you say, he's down there. Like you say, whether he's going to stop that coming in or not, it is questionable. But you've still got to make your presence felt. And what he's doing is very, he's not Jalen Smith, but Jalen Smith.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, but Jalen Smith-esque in his mind, because he kind of like freelances, doesn't look at his landmarks and reads them, makes the proper adjustment. He just goes where he thinks he's supposed to be, which is what Jalen Smith used to do.
Yeah, it's kind of as if he didn't know the right play call. Like surely you would know the strong side of the ball, and you would kind of like get a preemptive like judgment and where everyone else is going. You followed that direction.
Even if you had your back.
He was the only guy in that one. Like again, I know it's only 1 yard to the end zone. I get that, but it's about gap integrity.
Just making your presence don't make it easy.
Exactly. It's just not good enough. And when it comes and when it goes into this draft, like as it stands right now, Mike, like well, before we do mention, as everyone knows, the Dallas Cowboys did lose 34-26. I didn't even mention the scoreline. It was not the plans that we had for this game. Cowboys are now 6-7-1, whereas the Minnesota Vikings, which literally had nothing to play for because they were already out, they were just basically there to cause absolute mayhem, which they did. They are now 6-8. Unfortunately, the Eagles, check this. The Eagles won against the Raiders. Now they're saying, oh, yeah, we're back. I says, well, weren't you the same guys that actually taunted Cowboys Nation about, oh, you only beat the Raiders? So did you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so a guy trolling me because I put a tweet out about Jalen Hurts. It's a picture of a gorilla taking a dump, basically, on a window, and Jalen Hurts is the other side. I've cropped him in. And he put redemption, and I was like, wait a minute. Are you saying redemption's against the Raiders who haven't won a game since week 6? I was like, if that's redemption, then you've got problems.
Well, we're not going to talk about the whole show, but then we've got our own problems right now.
We got our own issues over here.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got people over in the States, like 105 The Fan and what have you, begging us to come back over because they see us as a lucky. They see us as a lucky charm. They're like, come back over and sort this out for us.
Yeah, big Zach Wilchuk. Big shout out to him from 105.3 The Fan.
And he's joining the show at some point.
Yeah, we would love to have him on. Like we bumped into him when we were in Dallas there, get to have a wee catch up with him. Obviously, we spoke to our good friend Brian Broaddus from Crown Media Group as well. Same with Virtual Lombardi, as we kind of mentioned. You can check that back in the live stream when we were back in Texas. But going back to this, mate, pretty much in reality, the season's over now.
1% chance. 1% chance. So the Cowboys have got to win out. Eagles have got to lose out. The issue with that, Eagles have Washington twice. So they've got the Bills, which is
we've got the Chargers though.
And we have the Chargers.
That's the game I'm concerned about.
Yeah. I mean, we round it off. We round the season off, Washington Giants. So you kind of like, okay.
So
Chargers is the tricky one. But if you say, like, even if the Eagles split games, like they lose to the Bills and split game, there you go, it's done. Can you see the Eagles losing?
they just need to win one out of the three.
Yeah, essentially. And it's 2 Washington games in there, so yeah.
Nate, you got to be realistic. Like, don't get me wrong. I might put $1 or £1 on the 1% chance. Who knows? Like, stranger things have happened. Leicester City won the Premier League a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that is true.
I
Go on.
was just gonna say some people put $20 on Leicester City to win, and they ended up leaving with like over $100,000.
Yeah, I know. That was crazy. And funny enough, that betting company tried to pay that guy out.
That's very true. Actually, I remember that.
Yeah, they didn't want him to win.
Speaking about bets, obviously here on the World's Team podcast, powered by the Believe Network, it's also powered by the FanJoe Sportsbook, which you can find below here on the stream. So be sure to download FanJoe Sportsbook today. But yes, like we kind of mentioned going into this game, we were 6.5 points favorites going into this game.
Yeah.
And it goes back to our point, Mike. I hate being favorites in football games. I hate it because how many times do we need to prove this? Time and time over. Whenever we're favorites, Arizona, the Panthers, Vikings, we've lost every one of them.
Heavy favorites too. Heavy favorites. Like you look at the spread, the point differential that they all put up.
Yep.
It was essentially the bookmakers were going, this is a heavy Cowboys win. It's going to be a big point differential win on the spread with the totals. Over-unders were all lopsided. And it goes the other way. And we've said this time and time again, that it seems to be when they're favorites, they get lackadaisical and they get complacent.
I should have went with my head and not my heart when it comes to our score.
Go with your heart.
Well, with my heart, I went for the Cowboys to win, but in my mind, I knew the Vikings were being this is why I said it was going to be like a 3-point game for us, because I just knew like the Vikings were going to turn up. I just knew it. Like, did I expect us to win this game? I was hoping to, but I didn't expect us to walk over these guys. I did not expect it. I mean, and this is the weirdest part, right? I'm just looking at statistics right now. JJ McCarthy only threw 250 yards, averaging 10 yards a throw, 15 out of 24, with 2 interceptions, 1 interception, with a quarterback rating of 85.6. The rushing game, this is nuts, right? And this is a positive for the Cowboys, believe it or not. We only held the rushing offense for Minnesota to 77 yards. Aaron Jones, the guy that always slaughtered us when he was at Green Bay, time and time again, we only kept him down to 34 yards under 12 carries. I mean, that's great on paper, but the damage was on the passing game. We had Addison, Hawkinson, Jalen Naylor, who got the 2 touchdowns. And I like to say I'm glad that Jalen Naylor is okay, because he'd had a very similar landing to CD Lamb with the back of the head. So I'm glad he's okay. So shout out to the Vikings fans and all the Minnesota guys out there. We're glad that your guy's okay. So, but when you look at the Cowboys statistics, Mike, Dak 294, 23 out of 38. Like, the average is not great, 7.7. The rushing yards, this should have won us the game, really. We had 2 rushing touchdowns from Malik Davis and Javonte Williams. Javonte with 91 yards, averaging 6.1. Malik Davis, 21 yards for 2.6. Not the best.
No.
Lipke got involved a little bit, but the passing game also, like CeeDee Lamb, you called
over
it
100 yards. Yeah.
Yep, you called it. Well, you called it, mate. But no touchdowns from anyone. None.
No.
That's what killed us.
Well, this was going back to our pregame show. If you remember, in the
Yeah.
pregame show, we said the Vikings, in terms of their pass rush, not so much a pass defense, but their pass rush, because they did lay.
They were so effective,
Yeah. 2 sacks, and I think it was a total of something like 19 pressures, right?
That's the blind Flores formula. It really
Yeah.
is. You called it.
We warned it. We warned in the pregame show that this is what was coming. But because they sell out so much on the pass rush, they have issues in stopping the run. You've just pointed out now the stats of Javonte Williams. Now, I have issues with the supporting cast when it comes to the running game for the Cowboys. It's something they'll need to address this year. Because obviously we know about Jaden Blue, his issues. We've got Malik Davis, who's okay, he scored a touchdown, but yeah, it's boom or bust with Malik Davis.
As an RB2-3, yeah, I'd still keep him on board for sure. But
on board, but you need a better supporting cast there because it's all on Javonte, and we lost Javonte for half the game.
This is the thing. This is the thing, though, mate. We drafted Jaden Blue. We've drafted Phil Maffa. Two running backs in this year's draft.
Yeah,
barely seen the field.
Yeah. I mean, Jaden Blue because of the fumbleitis issues. Phil Maffa for other reasons, coaching reasons, but there is a need there. But what we said is they're susceptible to the run, and I know that they were behind, but what Shotty should have done is continue with the run. And I was putting it on Twitter as a game. I was like, don't deviate from the run. I know it seems crazy, but you're smashing it on the run here. And you've seen it. Javonte Williams, 8 yards, and then it's 4 yards. Then it's a 10-yard run. Then you see him go on that 30 or 20 or 30-yard run. It's like continue with the run game. I know it seems off-kilter to do it with 9 minutes on the clock in the fourth quarter and you're down by 10 points. It doesn't seem the way to do it because you're just grinding that clock.
And
but
not just that,
had to stick with it, and he didn't.
And not just that, they would expect you to pass the ball, and if you put that fake in there to say, "Oh yeah, we're going to pass the ball," but nope, here's the run, it's going to catch them by surprise, and you can get massive yards without taking too much time from the clock. You're basically playing mind games essentially in that part. That could have, but we're being very wishful, like what if right now, but
yeah,
it's incredibly frustrating. I mean, the other thing I noticed as well was the challenge call. I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
That was just a shotty of it was through the red flag line. You may as well have just, like that meme where it's like you could have just done that. But on offense, what killed the offense was the tackles. Inside offensive line, first half was a bit shaky. Second half, BB, I know Tyler Smith went out for the game with a poke in the eye. Booker held up his own, no sacks, only 2 pressures allowed. But the tackles, Steele and the 2 guys that ended up playing on the left really struggled. They could not cope with what was, what comes, it's that late pressure. So they'll hit you with the first punch, and then the second wave comes in. They just couldn't handle it.
I'm gonna come in support for Nate Thomas here. He did perform a hell of a lot better.
Better, but still, it's not enough.
Yeah.
Is that not? I mean, Dak was having to.
I know. I do agree. I do agree in that regard.
It was constant.
But when you compare it to the likes of what is a more star-studded Detroit Lions defensive front, let's be honest, I thought he did better than that, especially in the run game. I thought he did better.
He was, okay. I still don't give it a passing grade.
No, without a doubt, no. Like, it's still, we still need to do a lot better, but it's still like, this is why he is like a backup to Tyler Guyton at the moment. And don't get me wrong, Guyton does have his issues also, but it's just incredibly frustrating, man. Like, but
very frustrating. It was, as I say, it was lost in the trenches both ways.
Yeah,
not so much in the run game, but you seen late and simulated pressure coming round on Terrence Steele. He couldn't handle it. That caused a sack. On the other side, it was coming in waves. And here's the thing is they knew what to do. They knew to attack the left side, and they were doing it. And it was coming in multiple waves, and it couldn't be handled. And Adeniji comes in, causes a flag to begin with, then causes a sack on the next play. And you're just watching it going, and Dak is in the backfield just escaping for his life. He's running around. He's trying to make plays. He's trying to climb back in the pocket once he's moved out of the issue, and he's just struck with more of it again because it's just coming at him too quick and too fast. And people will point out, oh, well, Dak's missing throws across the middle. Ryan Flournoy was wide open. It's like, yeah, you're taking a snapshot, a screenshot of something that's happened in a split second. You got to understand that he's got big guys in his face. He's looking over to his left because that's where he's looking at the time. He's got to reset, look, and then make the throw. Didn't have time to do that. Yeah, he could have or should have made that throw to Flournoy, but unfortunately, the pressure is in his face. It's right there, and he's just trying to do as much as he can. It was unfortunate. What made it just so frustrating is that you can see it. You're watching it happening on the field, and you're just like going, we just need a couple. You just need a couple of plays here, of string of successions, which we did see in drives where they managed to put it together and they'll get downfield, but then it stalls, it goes backwards, and then it's a Brandon Aubrey field goal, which, by the way, is insane to watch him miss 2 field goals.
Yeah, that was not on my bingo card. I mean, even if Aubrey did get those 2 field goals, we still would have lost anyway.
And here's the funny bit, is we're all in shock. We're going, oh, Brandon Aubrey's missed 2 field goals. They were at 52 yards and 59 yards, right? The irony here is we're so used to just seeing Aubrey striking these super long field goals. And he's missed a 59-yarder. And we're all in shock. It's just we've been incredibly spoiled as Cowboys fans.
That's the word. And this, I don't care what anyone says. Aubrey is still the GOAT. He's still the best NFL kicker in the league. Kickers do miss from time to time,
but you miss a 50-yard field goal, I give it as a pass. I'm just like, it's 50. You're trying to belt over half a field, right? I'm
going to pro. Do you think the laces were out?
Nah. The laces were in.
But joking aside, though, no, like it feels like there was a lot more pressure on Brandon Aubrey because we knew that we really needed him to really deliver in that way. So I don't know if it was a pure pressure cooker in there at times because we had to win every. Yeah, but it's I'm not worried about Brandon Aubrey. Like end of the day, our offense did not help the whole situation in general. No. So
play calling as well. I will say in this one, I'll give a C grade for, only because it went in one direction, and then later in the game, it didn't stick with that direction when it needed to. It needed to stick with. It's almost like Shotty got nervous and he got quaky in his boots and just kind of went, no, I can't do that now. And it's like, no, stick with it, stick. Don't change what you're doing now. And you go from early in the game, fourth, you're on it's second quarter, it's 4th and 3 on the halfway. You decide to go for it on 4th down. Then later in the game, when the game's tighter, similar situation, and you punt it. And you're like, no, it's not adding up. You'll get you've got nervous and you're showing your hand.
Yeah, one of the other things, and I don't want to criticize Shotty too much because
no.
Because I think and we'll do this when it comes to doing the whole season review. All things considering, this is his first year as a head coach. I think he's done a phenomenal job to bring the team commodity, the continuity, whatever that be, the locker room. I think he's done a great job in that. I think this is a good base to go forward with. But the thing that really annoyed me is bringing back CD Lamb to make him rush with the ball.
Coming in the
Right.
backfield, don't like that.
And the jet sweep.
Yeah, and he got swallowed up.
Can
And
we
you're watching it the whole time going,
because if memory serves me right, Mike, last time we did that, CD Lamb was pretty much nearly out for the rest of that game. I can't remember what game it was, but I'm pretty sure.
No, he went out in the end for about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
Playing as a running back. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, no, please no. And lo and behold.
Yep.
And like you say, nearly happened again.
Nearly happened again. And I'm just like, oh, man. But I'm just looking at the ratio between pass and rushing. So it was 38 passing attempts and 29 rushing attempts. So you're talking about maybe 45% rushing, 55% passing.
And
so
it needed to really be the other way.
Yeah. It should have been the other way about. Because we
But
were being...
of the Vikings defenses against the run.
Yeah. And obviously with the injury to Javonte, kind of hindered that. It did not help.
Yeah.
And to Malik Davis, he's definitely more of an inside run guy. Inside run rather than the outside.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt we were a little bit limited in that option. And that kind of goes back to what you're saying. We might need to look for different solutions going forward at the running back group.
I think running back, you don't need to go out and get one in the first and
no. We've got bigger problems than that. Like if it's me, it's linebacker right now.
Linebacker, or if you decided to go linebacker or edge in the first round, I'm happy with that because both need doing. But linebacker is an area of need. Edges as well, for a multitude of reasons, which you don't really need to get into right now because it's a bit emotional. But I mean, their areas running back just purely as you need something of a supporting cast because you've got Javonte Williams and he's done great this year, and
he's having a comeback here after all the injuries and stuff like that. I mean, that's a lot to really, when you really put that in perspective. Like he's came back from multiple knee injuries, ACLs, wherever that may be, had a really down time in Denver. We brought him in, and our expectations were very low when he signed, and he's skyrocketed. So if anything, he should be one of the top guys for comeback player of the year in some way.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to go to Phillip Rivers now, but never mind. But
oh God.
But I mean, Javonte's been great, and he's got the most rushing yards for a Cowboys running back that any running back has in the last 6 years. So he's topped. The last guy who got the most yards than him was Ezekiel Elliott. So that's going back some. So he's done a grand job. He's done brilliant. You've also seen other things that don't creep up on the stat sheet, like his chips. Like we've seen some solid chips from Javonte Williams this year.
Speaking about chips, not to sound Mr. Negative again, Hunter Luke needs to do a lot better.
Yes. Yeah.
Like he
is, though. His chipping isn't bad.
Yeah, there was one play in particular in the interior. I can't remember what defensive tackle it was, but basically just got absolutely decimated. They even chipped it just bounced right off the guy. Like if that's the case, just chop blocked him or something.
I mean okay. That's leading you to, but I know what you're saying. That's better than your quarterback getting mauled.
Like, you just lower the pads down, just rather than trying. He was too upright, just got forced back. Basically, it was just pure dominance.
His feet were under him and not behind him. So yeah.
I mean, what could we talk about the defense post? Well, there was
DaRon Bland. Bland.
Bland was great.
Kept Justin Jefferson to 22 yards. Only made two receptions of 8 targets. And DaRon Bland was the guy on Jefferson. Bearing in mind, this is Jefferson who we all know is a massive threat. You know, he's huge. Kept him to 22 yards. Deron Bland did his job really, really. Siobhan Revel as well.
He made a great tackle for loss in one
on
of the
third
plays.
down.
Yep.
Brilliant play, excellent. And coverage wasn't
because it was gap containment. He stayed his ground. Then because I believe it was Dante Fowler that caused the issue, with the tackle. And obviously, you see Aaron Jones coming out, and Revel was just there waiting, just basically anticipating, and stood his ground and made the tackle, and it was basically no gain, and that's what caused the fourth down. So great on that part, but. And obviously there was the Donovan Wilson
thing,
padding the ball, then the interception from Quinnen Williams.
Quinnen Williams making the interception, which is always funny to watch.
So this is the thing: we make great starts, but somehow, some way, we devolve away from what is working as the game progresses.
I will also say, Jadeveon Clowney did good too. He was good at setting a hard edge when he was out there and it was needed. And you could see when he was out there.
You can tell.
You watched the running game collapse when they tried to move that way because he was setting it. It was solid. The only thing I will say is that trick play where it was very Peyton Manning-esque against the Cowboys where JJ McCarthy went over to that side. We should have had Clowney on that edge, setting it on that play. Because that would never have happened.
Yeah, I know the play you're talking about. It was Cowboys versus Denver back in 2013.
Manning just walked one in, and it was literally a carbon copy.
It was the year when Denver went to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Aye. But what we were talking about there? So Clowney, I thought, okay. Clark had a good start, had great get off at the start. But again, it just seems to be as the game went on and we were fizzling out. Quinnen Williams, I thought, he was being disruptive throughout the whole game. They knew, the offensive line just knew, if we can just, target him and let JJ McCarthy run out the pocket, we'll be good. And that's what happened.
Played too much Kenneth Murray, too much Maurice Liafu as well. I will say that. Logan Wilson didn't have his best game either. I will say, watching that he had his, but it was just that line. It's the linebacker, that middle phase is just where the Cowboys defense struggles, and because it struggles so badly, it affects the edges because they have to do other stuff when they should be concentrating on what they were doing. It's one of those things where it filters out because of it. Which then affects the secondary, which affects the safeties.
So to your point, mate, when it comes to the linebackers, Kenneth Murray was dead last in terms of the tackle rate. Dead last.
Yeah.
All right. Then it was Logan Wilson. Then you go up 5 places from the bottom. Then it's Maurice Liafu. Shamar James is higher than him. He's got 2 tackles and 2 solo tackles.
That was on special teams.
That was on special teams. So all of our, and this is what we were talking about in terms of compensation from our secondary. I tell a lie. The Marvin Overshawn led tackles. I tell a lie. But under Overshawn, under him, Malik Hooker, Siobhan Revel, Marquise Bell, DeLon Bland, they were the next guys. It should never have had to go to that level when it comes to the tackles, especially with.
Yeah, if you see
the only time it should actually happen is obviously the deep ball, but the fact is our linebackers were not helping with the pressure, just made our cornerbacks even struggle even more. It really did.
If they've got more tackles than your linebackers, there's issues. Yeah, it's a basic way to look at it. It's a very simple one. That just tells you where the ball was going. That's but the other thing I will say, another plus, is the Cowboys special teams unit, kick coverage, punt coverage.
It was better.
Yeah, it was better this week than it was against the Lions. So we've seen that improvement. So that's a plus. They've bounced back. But and I will say this as well. I don't know if you've seen it. But there was a play, I think it was in the second quarter, and the Vikings were down in the red zone. And the defense is looking confused, looking dazed and lost. And Schottenheimer calls a timeout.
I remember. Yeah. He basically
as he's walking
grilled
past,
Eberflus.
and you can see him mouth the words.
What the hell are we doing?
Yeah,
that was basically what was like. What's the
mouth?
term? Like not mouth, like it's lip reading.
Yeah, you could
it's
see
like, what
it
the
very
hell are we
clearly.
doing?
Yeah,
and
like,
he was not happy. He was not happy.
You could see it, and I'm wondering if maybe he's coming to the end of his tether with all of this, and it makes you wonder what's going to happen to Eberflus next season. Now, the crazy part is if the Cowboys decide to go with another defensive coordinator, that's in as many years as we've had coordinators in the last 4 years, which is insane.
It's not good. It's not good.
That's wild, because it'll be another change in philosophy, another change in how you use personnel. So you're kind of like going, do you stick with this for another year and see if it improves? But it's a hell of a gamble to take.
This kind of goes back to my original point when it comes to Eberflus, right? He's had to deal with 3 other defensive coordinators, other players. He's only brought in maybe 1 or 2, 3 players that actually could, like, maybe, like, well, don't get me wrong, Kenneth Murray was his decision. That's on him. Like, if it was me, like, I would give him like deduct maybe a salary for the year for bringing him in, you know. But I think the fact is, it's like we now know going into next year we need to go defensive heavy going into this draft. We must linebacker, even add another corner, defensive end. We need to. We've got defensive tackle locked up for the next couple of years. We've got that thing.
Yeah, defensive tackle. I feel that's fine, especially with Quinnen Williams there. Osa, you know, edge needs work. Linebacker needs a lot of work. But you've got to think.
But think of it this way: Malik Hooker is now coming. Like, he's getting a bit older now. Do we look maybe towards safety now? Like Donovan Wilson.
We never draft safety, so don't worry about that.
Who knows? Who knows? We might surprise ourselves.
If you remember back in about 2018 when we started doing
Morrig, we really wanted Morrig, didn't we?
Back then, we were going through like, we never draft safety, and we went through just draft show after draft show for about 5 years, going, we never draft a safety, and then they ended up.
We should actually get that done as a T-shirt.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We never draft safety. Yeah. So I mean, like,
make safety great again.
Yeah. I mean, like, the only other thing that's stopping the Cowboys going edge and linebacker with their first 2 picks is I'm also thinking, what about right tackle?
Yes. Yeah. That's
like, and so it becomes now an issue of where do you want to pick your poison in the draft? We can get 2 first-round guys, and there's 3 major positions: linebacker, edge, and right tackle. They need to address.
I think really more realistically, we're going to use one of those first-round picks to even get more draft capital, get more picks, get some guys in the second and third rounds.
They might trade down with one of them. I agree. Like, they might use their earliest pick.
One of them. Like, the earliest pick, you'll get a bit more better value for sure.
That's what I think. Yeah.
So
then they can go down and get like a second and a fourth sort of thing.
Well,
which means then we can.
Well, it depends what they're trading up for. Like, it depends.
That means we could do a day 2 draft show again.
On the UK Cowboys fans. Yeah.
Maybe. But maybe. So yeah, I mean, that's the only other thing that kind of like hinders it, because you haven't got anything in day 2. You're not getting anything that's better than Terrence Steele in the 4th round of the draft. I'm sorry, you tackle just it won't. You'll get a nice rotational piece, maybe a swing tackle, but to find a guy who's going to be better than Steele in the 4th round, that I don't think is going to happen. Sorry, ex-wife messaging me. Go away. She don't watch this show. So that is the only thing. So like, could you get a 4th round edge? Like linebackers aren't bad this year.
No, 4th round running back.
4th round running back works because they get the early ones going and they kind of get left alone.
That would be the value pictures. Remember all those running backs that went in the 3rd and 4th round? Devin Neal, like where did Scatterbo go? Was he not like 3rd round?
Yeah, he was.
So, like, you've got all these really good running backs, and quite a lot of these rookie running backs are making a fair hell of an impact this season. They are.
Now they are. Yeah, as the season goes on.
And we said this last year. Well, start the draft process. This was the most stat running back class in any draft we've seen, and it's clearly really showing that.
Deep. Yeah, and so like what you see is this time of year, because like running your RB1s are starting to slow down a bit because they're puffing out. So now you're going to your backup running backs. Your RB2s are getting more work. That's these rookie guys that you're getting in the 3rd and 4th rounds. I know Scatterbo is slightly different, and the situation he's in is slightly different.
I know he plays for the Giants, but I'm a big fan of him. I love how he plays.
He almost took out Texas. He was literally the player who almost put Texas dreams to rest.
Well, on that note, we can talk as much draft as we want to, but we'll save that when it's going to come up once the season's over. And
we're even going to do, Paul, some short scouting videos right here on the Wilderness team.
Yep, some short video highlights of players that we're going to be looking at, folks. So be sure to check that out in the months to come, leading up to the next season. But yeah, going back to the Vikings game, in general, Mike, it's a killer.
Yeah.
At home, marbles on the line. It was a must-win against a team that were already out, against a quarterback who pretty much had one of his best games again. It seems to be a current theme. We're giving some of these quarterbacks their best record days. It's becoming a pattern, and it's concerning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It feels like that loss was the most costly loss. I mean, like you could say maybe.
Oh no, I would say Arizona was, to be fair.
Arizona Panthers, but at this stage of the season, when you're getting into the business end of it, that was costly. That was massively costly and very demoralizing.
Yeah, like I would say more the Arizona game, purely because we lost to again another backup quarterback. That's my reason behind that. Yeah. I don't know why that made. I mean, Jacoby Brissett, like, he should have had no business beating us in that game. He had no business doing that. But here we are. But the rest of the NFL fans, particularly the Eagles, they're laughing at us right now. They says, all right, enjoy Cancun, guys. Well, in some way, they're right. I'm off to bloody Miami for Scotland versus Brazil in Miami. So that's what I'll be doing.
Welcome to Miami.
So I'll be doing that over the summer. But hey ho, but yeah, Mike, any last thoughts before we sign off and before we jump back for the pregame show later this week against the Chargers?
My only thoughts is with this game coming up now against the Chargers, I want to see the defense tighten up. If we don't, I really don't know how the offseason in terms of scouting the defense is going to be. If I see the improvement, we can. It's better. You can kind of like filter where things need to be. If they don't, it's going to make things very, very difficult.
It could be wishful thinking. Who knows?
I know.
But no, you are right. Some people in the Cowboys Nation fan base say, let's just try and get better draft picks. Not really. You still want to kind of retain players that could still make an impact for next season. I get the incentive, but at the same time, you still need to retain more players on your team rather than just thinking about getting one player for a couple of slots up in the draft. That makes no sense. So,
and these guys aren't going to tank. They've all got jobs. They've got bills to pay. They want to be here next year.
It's not just exactly, mate. These players want to prove a point. It's like, I want to make sure I have a job for next season.
Yeah.
So the idea of tanking is not like it just does not compute. Like if I was like maybe like say it for scenario's sake before we sign off, say for scenario's sake, we were like 1-15, right? And the Eagles had the chance to like if they lose this next game, it could actually ruin their chances making the playoffs. I was like, oh, by God, by far, I would do everything in my power to make sure they do not make it. Kind of like what the Vikings did to us, essentially. You know?
Yeah.
So that and that's kind of the definition. Some of these players in this Vikings team were kind of playing for their jobs, even though they're already out there. They're playing for like, I'm still good. We just really had a really, really tough season. We lost games by a thread. I mean, look back at their records and look at some of the games. The Vikings are quite unlucky in some of these games that they played. I was quite surprised to see. Like, don't get me wrong, JJ McCarthy has quite not the best seasons for technically for his rookie year, but
inconsistent is definitely the word to use.
Yeah, but when you look at how their defense have played, like if we had the Vikings defense and the Cowboys offense, that would be something.
Yeah.
That would be something. But yeah, folks. But yeah, Mike. Before we finish off, please tell everyone where everyone can find you.
You can find me on Twitter or X at Kenfig Cowboy. That's Kenfig with a K, Cowboy with a K, and you, Mr. B.
You can find me on X and Instagram. Yes, folks, that is the end of this episode. As we say, the Cowboys lose 34-26 at home against the Minnesota Vikings. Our playoff chances are at a measly 1%. The realistic chances were basically like there's very, very no chance at all of us progressing, especially with how the remaining roster is and how the other games are proceeding within the NFC and the NFC East. So, but before we do go, it's as always, it's not just America's team, it is the world's team. We'll see you guys next time. Have a good one, folks.
That's a wrap on the World's Team Podcast. Smash that like button and hit subscribe, Cowboys Nation. This ain't just America's team, it's your team. Touchdown! It's the World's Team, only on Believe, where real fans live.
How about them Cowboys?